So I am going to kick off today's event. And first of all, I'd like to introduce who I am. So I'm Jane Goodyear, and I'm the Dean of the Lassonde School of Engineering at York University here in sunny Toronto. And before we actually kick off with our closing ceremony, I would first like to share with you a land acknowledgement in respect of our Indigenous peoples, who are the traditional stewards of the lands of which we live and work. So as this meeting is virtual and we are not all gathered in the same space, I recognise that this land acknowledgement might not be for the territory that you're currently on. We ask that if this is the case, you take the responsibility to acknowledge the traditional territory you are on and the current treaty holders. As a member of the York University community, I recognise that many Indigenous nations have long-standing relationships with the territories upon which York University campuses are located that precede the establishment of York University. York University acknowledges its presence on the traditional territory of many Indigenous nations. The area known as Tekaronto has been caretaken by the Anishinaabe Nation, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and also the Huron-Wendat. It is now home to many First Nations, Inuit, and Métis communities. We also acknowledge the current treaty holders, the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. This territory is subject to the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement to peacefully share and care for the beautiful Great Lakes region. So, thank you very much for joining us for the closing ceremony of, I'm very proud to say, Canada's first Turing Scheme visit. As we say, a big thank you and goodbye to the 8 students we've hosted from Manchester Metropolitan University's Digital and Technology Solutions degree apprenticeship programme. That's quite a mouthful, so I've got through that. So for the month of June, we've had the pleasure of hosting the apprentices here at York University, and they've been really busy. They've attended our computer science lectures, seminars, and laboratories. And also what has been quite truly special and unique about this visit is the opportunity they've had to meet and learn and also work alongside several Canadian employers, including Ceridian, CGI, IBM Canada, Mimic Technology, Pearson, and Shopify. And I really would, I mean, it's just awesome what you've done, and to say a huge thank you to those organisations for your interest in this programme and the involvement in this superb initiative. Now, saying that, we have been working on this for the last few years, and I've been very actively involved with some of you at this table today, because we've been working with you to co-design and develop this uniquely flexible alternative to traditional university study, where, as you know, a learner works in a full-time job for 4 years, with 20% of their time released to train and study for a degree. Now, through this visit, it's been amazing for us in Canada, because we've been able to see firsthand how the fully work integrated learning model is put into practice. It's been invaluable for us. Having the opportunity to meet students and employers who are actively living it every day has just been superbly invaluable for us. And because of that, we've been able to ask a lot of questions and also iron out our final processes and curriculum for our programme going forward. And I'll tell you just a bit more around that. So in March, we're calling this a digital technologies programme, received approval from our provincial quality council. And so the timing of this visit has worked very well as we prepare for a September 2023 start to this new programme. And I'd like to recognise at this point the incredible support we've received from York University's Provost Office. And in particular, I really want to recognise our Provost and Vice President Academic, Lisa Phillips, who's with us today. So thank you, Lisa, for coming to this closing event. And also the support of Gordon Binstead, who is our Deputy Provost for the Markham campus, where this new programme will be based from. So I know it's a busy time for all of us, and thank you for those in the UK who, interrupted your evening, and Liz, who's in Italy, who's another hour in your evening. So thank you for having time to spend with us today. And also a huge thank you for definitely for the UK employers, because you've gone without your employees for the last month whilst they've been here having a super time in Toronto. So thank you for empowering your apprentices to pursue this journey. I'm sure you've missed them, as I have to say, and I'm sure we'll hear more of this. They have made a huge impression on us, no doubt about it. And we're looking forward to hearing more from your apprentices about the knowledge and skills they've developed whilst they've been with us at York University. But first, I really would say we couldn't have done this, and I want to recognise our partners at Manchester Metropolitan University, who are the leading UK provider of degree apprenticeships, for essentially making this trip possible. And it was thanks to their successful application for funding from the UK government's Turing Scheme, which offers learners life-changing study or work abroad experiences. And the scheme, which is named in honour of Alan Turing, a renowned British mathematician and computer scientist, I would say this is the first time the scheme has actually operated in Canada. So it's a truly special initiative that we've together delivered. So we really greatly appreciate Manchester Metropolitan University's close collaboration with York International in particular, and helping us navigate through the High Commission of Canada in the UK to enable these students to come and visit Canada. So on that note, I would now like to introduce my dear colleague and, dare I say, friend Liz, Liz Gorb, who is the director, the Director of Apprenticeships at Manchester Metropolitan University. And again, this is a truly global meeting. I've alluded to the fact that Liz is beaming from Florence in Italy, because she's currently presenting at the Accreditation Council for Entrepreneurial and Engaged Universities Conference. So over to you, Liz, and thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Jane. That's absolutely fantastic. Yes, indeed, we're here in Florence, where we've actually won an award for being an engaged university because of the degree apprenticeship. So very, very pleased of that. Although I have to say it's extremely hot here, but we're in a heat wave. Not very good for us from the north of England, as you know. So I just want to take you briefly back to 2015, when a group of employers were called to 10 Downing Street to talk about advanced skills shortages. nothing changes, as we can see. We're still in the midst of skill shortages. But the idea from that meeting, the idea, the whole concept of degree apprenticeships came about. And we were one of the first universities to join this big group of employers, and to work out how this could actually, how this could emerge. And we became one of the early adopters, along with 5 other universities. And we did recruit really well, even at that point. And many of you were with us right from the start, I know. AstraZeneca, Barclays, Lloyds, Thales, BBC, and many, many pioneering small business. Got Codely here tonight, I think. And so from that early start with 60, we now have over 2,400 degree apprentices on programme. At the beginning, they were called higher level apprenticeships, but that didn't really go very well. And people kept saying, oh, it's not a really degree, it's not a real. So we're calling it degree apprenticeships. I know that in Canada, you're calling it integrated degree, but it's very, very much the same thing. And Jane was one of the early visitors to that course. And she came over, she was in New Zealand at that point, and came over and could see that it could fit, the model could fit in other countries. And she had that foresight and that vision to see that. And so we kept in touch, and indeed, they then set it up in New Zealand, degree apprenticeship in asset management. And it began to emerge. We had interest from all over the world. And so we set up this network, an international network. And through the pandemic, we met, obviously for us quite late at night, for you after work, for Perth, Australia, very early in the morning, for New Zealand. So we've had these calls, but it has developed into a quite a passionate and thriving network, I think. And it's from this that the opportunity to do the study visit, which you've just been on, came about. And York University very, very kindly accepted to receive you and, to give you this fantastic opportunity of studying in another university and meeting all the employers as well. So we've been doing this now for 6 years, and we decided last year to take a deep dive into our data and discover who we had on the degree apprenticeships. And so this became our report called Force for Change. And because there was a lot of talk about, oh, it's only for rich people, it's only for, but that wasn't our experience. So we found out that 40% of our apprentices are the first in their family to go to university. And we call them first generation. And 34% of females in STEM subjects. I know a lot of you, you are here today to prove that. Because normally in computer science in full-time courses in the UK, percentages are very low, sometimes just 8%. So this is fantastic as well, and a high proportion of people from indices of multiple deprivation. So we feel it's a great concept. It's not for everybody, we know, because it's very hard work. As you know, you have been incredibly motivated to be able to study and to work full-time at the same time, and to get your degree apprenticeship. And it's not even just a degree, is it? You've got to do all the skills and behaviours and make great success in the workplace. So, but we're very, very proud. We're very proud of you. And we're very proud that you've been really good ambassadors for us. And I know your employers are as well over in York. So I just want to thank you so much to all the Canadian employers, to Jane, to Nicole, to Melissa, to all of you, to Kerry, to all of you who have put this together. And I know given them such a wonderful time. And I think Professor Darren Dance is on the call as well. And I know he came over and again was extremely impressed. So I'm now going to pass over to Nicole. And thank you, Nicole, for being their mother over there and looking after them. Thanks very much.
Let me unmute myself. Thank you very much, Liz. Yes, it's been my absolute pleasure. I'm looking around and I'm seeing that most of us have already met, but I am seeing some new faces. So I will very quickly introduce myself. My name is Nicole Virgin, and I'm the Manager of Business Development at Lassonde School of Engineering here at York University. And my role is to support employers in preparing for and implementing the digital technology degree program. And so working together, our goal is to ensure a really rich and successful learning experience for work integrated learners. So that's why this visit was so important to us. And as both Jane and Liz have indicated, this is a collaboration between commerce and academia, and it really is a magnet for visionary organizations. Over the past month, I've had the pleasure, and I'm using everybody's saying pleasure because it's truly the experience we've had, the pleasure of working and learning alongside the MMU students. And it's been an active month. There has been an abundance of growth, intellectual and personal. And it hasn't all been one-sided. Speaking on behalf of Lassonde, I want to reiterate the thanks that Jane shared, that this has been a tremendous learning opportunity for us as well. We met virtually on June the 7th at the start of this journey, and I imagine for the learners, it feels like eons ago, even though it was only a few weeks ago. And I'd like to take a moment to share a bit about the activities that the MMU learners have participated in while they've been here. Each week began with an intensive working group session led by Amir Chennai, Associate Professor of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science, and Lassonde's academic lead for the development of the digital technology degree program. The working group sessions were designed to discuss the most effective methods to connect learning experiences in the classroom with workplace learning. And as you know, the foundational model of work integrated learning is setting pathways for learners to bring the concepts that they're studying in the classroom to life in the workplace. So these working group sessions were focused on refining that 20% of in-class time to make the 80% of in the workplace time meaningful and powerful. During these sessions, Amir was joined by key Lassonde faculty members and members of Lassonde's Educational Innovation Studio. And one of the studio's goals is to bring together local faculty with international experts around educational innovation to design, test, and pilot new approaches, and to develop the means to integrate new findings into curricula. And this goal was realized, hooray, when Manchester Metropolitan University's Department Head of Computing and Mathematics, Dr. Darren Dancy, joined the learners and our Lassonde academic leads in their weekly working group session. So truly a global think tank. And globally, the word has spread that York University is a great place to study. We have over 300 global partnerships across 60 countries. So naturally, the MMU students spent much of their time studying in Lassonde's classrooms and labs. While they were here, they studied software tools, software design, introduction to computer security, user interface, and finally, advanced object-oriented programming. As well as attending classes to help them hone their technical skills, we also arranged for several intensive workshops. And here learners reflected on their futures. They discussed challenging ideas. They practiced active listening, all with the goal to open pathways for them to share and learn from each other. One of the workshops was on postgraduate studies and teaching in higher education. We also took a deep dive into the student experience, and they participated in a recruitment and admission process workshop. They also joined an equity, diversity, and inclusion discussion and a forum on balancing work, study, and life for work integrated learners, because this is a new program to Canada. So we really benefited from listening to their wisdom. Learners, I want to say thank you so much for teaching us while you were here. We're very, very grateful. And we could never have achieved this without the support of your UK employers. And I'd like to say thank you to each of them and have them introduce themselves to this forum. So UK employers, you're up. Please have one person from your organization introduce yourself and your role. And I believe we have Auto Trader Ibrahim's employer here. So Auto Trader, welcome. And you might be on mute. I've done that.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, I'm sorry. I couldn't get myself off mute then. And I've got no camera either. So, but I will introduce myself briefly. So my name's Caroline Atherton. I'm the Early Careers Advisor here at Auto Trader. And Ibrahim has been over in Canada with you. So really excited to hear more kind of about the experience and what they've been doing. So yeah, really pleased to be here. I don't know if you need anything else from me. Sorry, in my intro.
That's perfect, Caroline. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us. We know that it's late into the evening for you. So we're really grateful. It's even later for Liz. I think it's like 8 o'clock at night there. So thank you. The next person we'll hear from is Lucy's employer, Bentley. I believe we have someone from Bentley here as well.
Hi there, I'm Dr. Andy Moore. I'm working at Bentley Motors. I'm a digital transformation leader, and I have a team of 20 degree apprentices at various stages of their development, and Lucy is one of them who's over with you now.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you very much. And then, Joel, I'm not sure your employer Fujitsu is here. We'll give them a moment. But I know that we have Solutions PT, Isabella's employer, here on the call. So if someone from Solutions PT could introduce themselves, that'd be great.
Hi, yeah, my name's Gemma Dibb. I'm the Technical Services Manager for Solutions PT. So I'm Isabella's manager, and we've been doing the degree apprenticeship scheme for about 5 years now, and we've had around 4 or 5 apprentices at different levels, different years throughout the degree.
Fantastic, fantastic. And Kieran's employer, Coderly, I'm not sure if they're here. I haven't seen, I know there's a couple of people who have their name and I don't know which, where they're from, but that's okay.
Yeah, Craig's here.
Oh, okay, terrific.
I am here. Sorry. Okay, yeah, so I'm Craig Kennedy. I'm the Chief Executive at Coderly, and we're Kieran's employer. We're a bespoke software development and IT services company based in Manchester. We've been involved with degree apprentices since the first cohort in 2015, and generally we're just huge advocates of the programme.
Wonderful, thank you very much. And then the next person, I think, is there someone, Samuel, is Thales Group, I think Thales Group, AstraZeneca, and Lloyd's Banking Group sent regrets, but I'll double check just to make sure.
Hello.
Mike's from Thales.
Oh, there we go.
Hello, my name is Mike Preston. I'm from Thales UK. I'm Sam's line manager. I'm one of the software team leaders. So similar to some newer companies, we've had apprentices since they started, and we've got various ones at different levels. So our current set, I think they've just started to hear their results today, so they're all done very well as well. So hopefully that'll be Sam next year. And yeah, we're all very happy with our apprentices. So, yeah.
Fantastic. We're happy with your apprentices too. So thank you very much.
You've also got Sean Gray from Lloyd's. I think you mentioned you'd had regrets, but I am here. I have the pleasure of managing Tasmia. I'm the engineering lead for our platform migrations in intelligent automation for Lloyd's Banking. I also look after our DevOps team, and by weird coincidence, I'm also doing an apprenticeship for my MBA. So really interested to hear how it's all been working with York and MMU's partnership.
Fantastic. So yeah, the learning is all over, multi-level learning in Lloyd's Banking Group, because I know that Tasmia is going on to her master's as well. So thank you so much. This is terrific.
No, my pleasure. Thanks.
Did I miss anyone from our UK employers? Before we move on to our couple of Canadian employers who are also here, I'd like to do the same thing if we can. I'd like to have our Canadian employers introduce themselves, their organization, and say a few words. And I will say that when I asked the learners to describe their experiences with the Canadian employers, they use words and phrases like innovation, innovative, prestigious, student and youth friendly, family friendly, supportive, empowering, global citizens, adaptive, and cool. So congratulations there. So yes, I would like to have the Canadian employers please take a quick moment to introduce yourselves, your organization. And again, I'm not sure exactly who's here. I know that Mimic is here because we were just online with them earlier this afternoon. So how about we start with Mimic Technology?
Sure. Hi guys, my name is Seb Alamuti. I'm the Director of Academy and Developer Relations at Mimic. We had the pleasure of having the students today with our team for more than 2 hours and really enjoyed our discussions with them, and our team here were very impressed with the level of knowledge the students had, and again, I should call them just students, they're our colleagues. Some of them have senior management in the companies they're working. So we really enjoyed the interaction with them. Again, Mimic, we're reimagining cloud. So we are edge computing, providing an edge computing platform, right? And we had a lot of discussions about the different use cases that can actually be useful for the companies that the students are working at, right? And it was very interesting to get the input and from them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Seth. That was terrific. And I believe Danielle is here from IBM. I know Danielle only had about 30 minutes or so. Let me just see if she's still here. We might have just missed her. I don't see Danielle from IBM anymore, which is unfortunate because IBM had a fantastic exercise that the students participated in. It was a learning tool where you could maneuver an object with just your hand, and both Tasmia and Ibrahim slayed that exercise. So I'm not sure if we have any more Canadian employers on the call yet. Let me know if I've missed anybody. Okay, so let's go on to the main event, where we are going to spend some time listening to and celebrating our MMU learners. Hooray! These generous, brilliant, and fascinating students. They have selected their speaking order. So please introduce yourself, share your name, your year, your program, your specialization, and then share a bit about your Turing Scheme learning journey, please. We'd like to know, what have you learned? The big question, what have you learned? And what are you taking back to your workplace? And Tasmia volunteered to go first from Lloyd's Banking Group.
Thank you, Nicole. Hi, everyone. My name is Tasmia Nyazi, and I have just completed my undergraduate degree apprenticeship. So I'm in my 4th year, specializing in software engineering. I work as a senior software engineering lead at Lloyd's Banking Group. So Lloyd's Banking Group is a leading UK financial services group provider with retail and commercial customers. So firstly, I would like to start by thanking Lloyd's Banking Group and my team for supporting and encouraging me to apply for the Turing visit. Thanks to MMU for believing in me, making the journey and the Turing Scheme possible, and putting a really important responsibility on my shoulders to showcase and spread the word of apprenticeships. And a huge thanks to York University and the employers for allowing us to take part in the visits, product demonstrations, lectures, social events, and many more fun, exciting activities. So the past month has kind of made me realize that I'm more resilient and flexible, because I've just been like balancing. There's been so many situations where I've been balancing lectures, interviews, and then also my personal life as well. So, and that all was kind of normal in the UK, but in a new country, it had all kind of different challenges with it. So I think the one main transferable skill that I would be taking back to the workplace, it would be like trying to kind of be more resilient and more flexible in my approach and in my attitude as well. So, and kind of take that back into the workplace and implement that in real world scenarios to kind of like take a step back and look at the bigger picture, see what I'm trying to achieve at the end as well. And I kind of did that with my degree apprenticeship as well. So, I mean, like everyone used to ask me this question, like I always get this question, like, how do you balance work and study? And for me, that was quite a big thing, to balance work and study. And I just didn't only do that. I had a newborn at the start of the pandemic, and I still adhered to all the deadlines at university. And then I also finished working on projects at work. So coming from like a cultural environment where women are believed to be married off and just have kids and not pursue their education and just become a housewife. That's the cultural background that we have, and it's quite sad to hear that in today's era. Like till today, my family still can't believe that I've completed my degree. I've also been nominated in multiple awards, and I'm an Asian in tech. I'm an Asian woman in tech. So and I'm also the only the Asian female on this trip as well. So it's quite a big something that I'm really proud of. And I was always told that complete a degree, you know, I'm not made out for academic studies, but this is like a true reflection of how I did complete the degree. And I'm also managed a full-time job alongside a family. And then the apprenticeship journey, it was initially very daunting for me, like, but only once I started walking on it, then things became clearer. And it also like, and similar to this trip, I was initially very anxious that how would I manage a new country with a toddler? And now I just don't want to leave. I'm at that stage where I don't want to go back to the UK. I believe the struggles and the hardship is what makes me shine. And without the support of my husband, my supportive, caring employer, and the colleagues that I work and interact with on a daily basis who strive to empower me every single day, I would not be here. So I've also learned this while speaking to other employers, that a main key skill that was taken away was versatile, adaptable, and remaining reliable, which is mandatory to perform and remain competitive as a vital team member. So I mean, like the experience has empowered me to be more confident and believe in myself, that I can push my boundaries and I can reach my full potential and look at other opportunities as well. I remember back in year one when I started the degree apprenticeship, I went crying to Rail, and I was like, I can't do this. I just can't do it. I was the shy student. I was hesitant to ask questions in the lecture theatres because there was like, 200, 300 students. And I was like, I don't want to ask a question. And whereas now I'm communicating, I'm being involved with such powerful employers, and I'm underlining the benefits and importance of an apprenticeship or a work integrated learning program. So this opportunity has allowed me to definitely explore another country, understand other individuals' values and the behaviors, interact with new mindsets, and make long-lasting relationships. And I'm glad I have taken part in this Turing Scheme, and I look forward to exploring and unlocking many more upcoming opportunities in the future. If anyone would like to ask for any further information, you can please reach out to me, and I'll definitely share my experiences. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tasmia. Thank you so much for sharing. Like, speaking of sharing, can I share something that you shared with me via WhatsApp this morning? Would that be okay?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
This is first class honors. So not only did Tasmia finish graduating, but she also graduated with first class honors. So I get choked up because I too had a baby in my first year. And full circle moment, I've mentioned this to Jane before. Our president, Rhonda Lenton, worked at McMaster University at the time, and she let me bring my baby to class because I was actually a York student, but I found her and followed her to Mac because she had the best social research course anywhere this side of Tallahassee, as they say. And so I know the journey that you've taken, and it's incredible, and you're incredible. I certainly didn't graduate with first class honors. So I'll have to keep studying so that you can inspire me to be a more effective student. Thank you, Tasmia. So, and you volunteered to go first. So from, not wanting to raise your hand in class to volunteering to go first. Thank you. Now, Isabella from PT Solutions, who has been our amazing question asker during our sessions, you're up next.
So hello everyone, well done Tasmia for jumping in first. I'm Isabella Sana from Solutions PT. I'm a technical support engineer, that's my role. I've also just completed my degree, so it was results day today, which was quite nice. I think Mike mentioned that before. So I've done the 4 years and I specialised in cybersecurity. So at Solutions PT, we distribute Aviva software for SCADA systems. So this is primarily for production plants to monitor and automate processes. We don't just do software, we also do hardware, but there's so many products that I wouldn't have enough time to explain them all to you. So that's just a brief description. So from this trip, what have I actually learned? I mean, we've learned about the weather. It's totally different to the UK. It's very hot at the moment. We've got the AC on, and I've had a really great time visiting Canada. And it's amazing how the group has actually bonded. We didn't actually know any of us really before we came onto the trip, but when we got to the airport, we just instantly clicked. And I know the others may possibly touch on that in a bit. We've done a lot of team building and loads of experiences and situations that Nicole has also been involved in, helping us out. And I've just learned loads from visiting the employers. I think that's one thing that I would take away is their working environments and how they've been dealing with the hybrid situation. So at the moment in Canada, majority of the employers are actually remotely working. I know in the UK, we actually are, well, we are hybrid at Solutions PT at the moment, but majority are. And it's nice just to see how they collaborate with each other. So for example, at Pearson, when we went to visit them, they had a workspace, but it was where they actually rented, each company would rent an area, like a specific area for say 20 people or more. And it would just be other companies in the same room, which was quite nice. And they also had work pods. So if you wanted to go away and, sit by yourself or have a one-to-one meeting, that was quite nice to see. And this morning we actually had Mimic. I think Nicole just mentioned that before. Their company is quite similar to our company in regards to software. So they use intelligence manufacturing, and they also use Edge Cloud, which is similar to what Solutions PT provides. So that was quite nice to see to compare it and to see what they do and then what we do and see the differences. We've learned a lot from this experience, but there's been various aspects from all the other employers, and we've definitely built on our soft skills by being here. And also just to mention the cybersecurity knowledge from the lectures. I've actually, even though I've finished my degree now, technically, it was nice just to expand on my knowledge and see if I've not learned something perhaps, or if I could just add something in there. So for example, we actually did cryptography. I didn't do that unit at uni because I did a different elective unit, but that was nice to learn. And then it was nice as a group team to discuss the apprenticeship at length. So we've all just been discussing it, I know in the meetings and just seeing each other's perspectives. Everyone has different roles, which is nice as well, just to see how they've balanced it, work-life balance, give younger people tips. And we took them to the meetings that we've discussed with York and even the employers. So we've done a lot. It's quite hard to condense it into a few minutes, but I think a few more people will touch on a few things.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Isabella. Yes, and you did visit an unconventional workspace. Though it was Pearson rents space in WeWork, which everybody can. It's like a communal space, like the car share programs. It's an office space share program. So yes, you were there, and you celebrated National Indigenous Peoples Day there as well. They had a huge potluck. I know that you said that was fantastic food. So thank you, Isabella, for sharing. And next we're going to have Ibrahim from Auto Trader.
Yep. Hello, everyone. I'm Ibrahim Archer. I'm a second year DTS student on the software engineering pathway. and I work for Auto Trader UK, which is the UK and Ireland's biggest automotive marketplace. As a software developer, mainly working in the more data-driven backend systems in regards to our actual website and stock items. For the trip, I've definitely learned a lot, you know, coming as a 19-year-old who still, you know, lives with his parents, been very like kind of sheltered. It was first of all a good experience to travel by myself and live by myself and kind of get that kind of grown up experience, if you will, as well as a bit more of the experience you might experience as a student in accommodation. But the lectures have been really insightful. The way that they go about it here compared to what we have at MMU is very different. They take a lot more time, maybe because they have the liberty of it, I don't know. But they take a lot more time and go over many different examples of certain aspects. For example, I took quite an interest in the advanced object-oriented programming lectures. Working with Java at work, it was a lot of the knowledge was very much what I already kind of knew, but the way that they went about teaching it and all the different examples and edge cases that we learned about was really interesting to see. You know, the campus itself has been really, really nice. It's been much bigger than anything you kind of see in the UK. You can walk from on one end of the MME buildings to the other in like 10-15 minutes, but over here, the one end of the campus to another is like 30 minutes. You try to go to the shop, it takes 5 minutes in the UK. Here it's like 40-minute walk. It's nuts. But you know, like Isabella said, the weather has been really interesting. It has reminded me of the UK in some aspects, just 15 degrees hotter. So that's been interesting to deal with, having the AC on all the time. And as far as the employer visits have gone, they've been really interesting to see how the cultures are across all the different employers. You know, at Auto Trader, I feel like we have quite a good and a really strong culture that we kind of put at the forefront of everything. And so hearing about the cultures of not only the employers we visited, but also the employers of all the apprentices that I came with was really interesting to see. It was also really good to see some of the demos that employers given us about their technology. And I'll definitely be bringing back some of the learnings that I have to my team and trying to see what we can implement on that side. But on the whole, the experience has been really good. You know, when we've been with Nicole, felt like we've been treated like royalty, and we've been very well looked after. And I've appreciated all the time of all the staff that I've been with, and of course, most importantly, the apprentices that I've been with. I've learned a lot from them. Just hearing their experiences, and yeah, like Isabella mentioned again, you know, we didn't really like know each other at all. We talked to each other for like maybe 20 minutes at most, but then when we all kind of arrived at the airport, I was like, okay, this is it. And we kind of became like one little family almost. So it's been really great. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibrahim. And yes, Ibrahim was also our adventurer. He did the zip line in Niagara Falls and the skywalk at in the CN Tower. So very adventurous, very brave. So thank you very much for sharing, Ibrahim. And next we're going to have Kieran from Coderly.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Cool, because halfway through Isabella's talk, my headphones died. So, like all good technology. So I'm Kieran Wilkinson. I'm a technical analyst at Coderly, and like Craig said earlier, we're a bespoke software and services house. I think you probably used to be in the travel industry, but we've branched out a bit more now as well. The whole trip's been great. I've got written down here such a great group of people, and that's the best way I can describe it. To meet with other apprentices and actually spend time just learning how everyone's businesses work, how even the apprentices that we're with in our group from the UK, we don't spend much time talking about what we do at work when we're at university. So it's great to have that time to have a chat and find out what they do. And of course, getting to do some of the sightseeing and things like that around Canada has been really cool. It's a massive place was what I've learned. The fact I discovered a week ago was that Ontario is 4 times the size of the UK, which just baffled me. In terms of what I've learned, the visits to the employers have been really insightful. One of the big things in the world is, of course, hybrid working at the moment, and hearing how Shopify did it because their digital by design initiative, talking about things like asynchronous documentation tools and how they did communication was really interesting, especially across different time zones. I have done a little bit of work while I've been over here, and working across time zones has certainly been interesting. I admire greatly these businesses that do work across continents. I think I've still got a lot to learn doing that. But even though we all work at the same time so at Codely, we do have flexibility throughout the day. So I'm looking forward to taking some of those skills and information and sharing it with the team back at Codely. Shopify also talked to us a lot about code quality analysis, which is something I didn't really know existed. So that's been great to hear how they implement it. And again, I might have a look at that myself. The other employer that really stood out to me was Ceridian. We had a whole conversation for about 3 hours of covering many things. And one of the things they really touched on was performance and their regular catch-ups. I'm lucky that I can't see Craig's face here because he'll know full well that I really hate having catch-ups regularly and find them very, very difficult. And I got some interesting conversations with, I think it was Raj at Ceridian, to talk about, you know, how to do that in a more positive light from the attitude I take towards them. The group that we've had is obviously very diverse, and that's great, and to see so many people and have to adapt and overcome for different things. And it's been really interesting as well to see the industry and what's out there in terms of career progression and opportunities and where the industry is going. And we've met 8 different companies and 8 different opinions on where the industry is going, in fact more than 8, because of course we didn't just meet one person. In terms of how I've grown professionally and intellectually, we've had lots and lots of meetings to the point where we joked through the whole, the last one, that we could probably do each other's introductions and learn all about how everybody works and what their businesses do. And that's given me a lot of confidence as well to talk about the kind of things that I do, as well as the degree apprenticeship. And lastly, again, looking at what the different roles that are available are. I used the example of Ryan. I never knew innovation technologist was a role and a whole field in itself, looking at disruptive technologies. And that's something that's quite interesting as well. So it's been great to talk to people and just sit down and learn more about what's out there without, and sort of slow down from the day to day and see what I can bring back, really.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kieran. And that's, yes, I know you have a hobby, a preference for aviation. So maybe next time when you come to Canada, you'll get your pilot's license so that you can cross over our vast territory more quickly. But yes, and we all met last night and talked about holding on to the magic of this connection that you've made, because it is very unique. So thank you very much, Kieran, for sharing. Now, Ryan from AstraZeneca, my friend, you are up.
Brilliant. Thank you. Can you hear me okay, everyone?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm Ryan Whitaker. I'm a 4th year degree apprentice, like Tasmia and Isabella mentioned. We've all graduated now from our program. And kind of while I was at MERB and studying the software engineering pathway, while also working at AstraZeneca for the past 4 years. I know that neither Kim or Kaylee could join, so maybe just quickly, AstraZeneca is the biopharmaceutical company, which is most notably known for making its vaccine over the last few years. But yeah, so what I've learned kind of while I've been here is kind of the major difference between the European and North American work and education culture. I didn't expect it when I came over. I thought it'd be very, very similar, but you know, I've seen some kind of major differences, but there are some kind of key parallels as well. I think just to touch on them quickly. There's just as simple as, you know, the sheer number of internships that we've actually got here in the North American market. You know, we don't particularly have that in AstraZeneca in the UK, and I think that's, you know, pretty consistent across Europe as well. And also just the differing teaching styles as well. You know, we've been in so much detail on some of the lectures that we've been to over the course of this past few weeks. And it's been really, really good to see and actually understand some of these core concepts, you know, in a lot more detail. And I think just you know, like one of the parallels is that there's definitely a key passion for bringing in young and emerging talent into the organisation and the economy as well, which I'm so pleased to have been here as representing as an ambassador of the apprenticeship scheme. And you know, fingers crossed it goes really well, the work integrated learning plan. You know, my team is also primarily based in the UK. It's been a great opportunity for me to actually understand about the differences and kind of actually experience them firsthand, rather than just through secondhand knowledge as well. You know, and why that's so important is that while I've been working at AstraZeneca, I've been looking at how we can actually bring AstraZeneca IT closer to academia. You know, how we can work with, you know, with more collaboration across AstraZeneca IT and academia. You know, primarily due to the fact that a lot of our collaboration actually takes place within our scientific business unit, you know, especially with our COVID-19 vaccine with the University of Oxford. So I'm really looking forward to actually bringing this back in to my team and actually to kind of advance the creation of this internal capability, and also to kind of give opportunities to students and academia, you know, within AstraZeneca IT. And, you know, finally, I've really enjoyed the opportunity to speak and work so closely with the faculty at York University, it's definitely something I'm going to take back to both Kim and Kaylee, who couldn't be here today. I'm really looking forward to seeing the success of the Work Integrated Learning Program in the future. And then just on the second point around kind of how the journey's changed me, I think it's definitely changed me in several ways. I've learned I really want to spend more time in the North American market. I believe it's got some, some great opportunities to actually support my future career ambitions, alongside also immersing myself in some of the different companies that we've met, both for the scheme, but as part of the wider group of apprentices that have come to Canada. Intellectually, there's been a lot of coincidence while we've been here. For example, in our first cybersecurity lecture, we were actually taught about Alan Turing, which resonated quite a lot, given the fact we're here on the Turing Scheme as well. And in addition to that, around the Indigenous Peoples Day, we hadn't actually got much exposure to that in the UK. And I'm really grateful to Pearson for actually spending so much time on our employer visit to actually kind of go into some of the detail. So it was very much insightful. And, reflecting back, this trip has been really, really good. It's really ratified my reason behind doing an apprenticeship. And, never did I think 4 years ago when I accepted my offer at AstraZeneca that I would be graduating my degree in Canada, with several other amazing apprentices that I'm so pleased to have met while I've been here. And then just finally, I want to say a massive thank you to everyone on the call, on behalf of the 8 of us as well. I'm sure you've all had considerable input into our time here. And it's been an amazing opportunity, which I'm sure we'll all take back and really reflect on in the future as well.
Thank you, Ryan, and thank you. I'm not going to forget about your offer to come back to North America and meet with me when we go to AstraZeneca here in Canada. So thank you, Ryan. That was terrific. So Joel from Fujitsu, you are our third to last speaker.
Hi everyone, I'm Joel Glanville. I'm on the third year of the Digital and Technology Solutions Programme. I specialise in cybersecurity. I work at Fujitsu, who are the top IT provider in Japan. I'm mainly involved in vulnerability management and part of the protective monitoring team. A month, it has been an experience to say the very least. If you would have told me this call would be happening today and how quick it's went, it's just been unbelievable, quite frankly. It's been really insightful seeing the difference in Canadian learning compared to English learning. I've really enjoyed going to the intro to computer security lectures just because it's actually felt like I have learned something. I feel like when the degree is just going so fast, like one day it's your first day at the organisation and the next day you're somehow 3 years in. It's been good to actually have the reassurance that the knowledge is going in. More so on the employer visits, it's been great to just see how all different organisations have been fully on board with getting new talent into the organisations. I feel in particular it was quite nice to hear Ceridian talking about empowering their employees. I'd also say the fact that they're willing for their employees to take risks. I think this is something I'd want to bring back to Fujitsu in terms of when you're making risks, this is going to have the best reward, I feel. Obviously, to an extent, with IBM too, I thought some of their innovative methods to bring new capabilities to light were incredible. The Area 631, just being with 6 of your different employees just to come through with a breakthrough would be an incredible experience. In terms of growth, it's weird to know that someone doesn't do your washing for you. That was a massive surprise. I've just got there. I've just got there on the 4th week, but it's been nice to speak to all the different apprentices, see their experience, and come together as a dysfunctional family. On a different note, I will be coming to Codely every day just to see Kieran's face because I haven't seen it today and I'm on edge already. So yeah. Overall, I just want to say thanks to Nicole, York University, MMU and Fujitsu for this incredible experience. It's definitely going to be one I'm going to remember, and I'm just thankful for being a part of this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Kieran. I really appreciate your thoughts there. And your friend, Sam, is up next. And I know all of you are friends, but I know you and Sam have been double trouble. So Sam from Sales, you're up.
Yeah, I get that. That's a pretty accurate statement. Yeah, so I'm Sam Wilcock and I work for Tellers UK as a software engineer. I'm currently on my third year of the DTS apprenticeship. Tellers are a global company providing to sectors such as aerospace, space, defence, cybersecurity, and transport. And this trip has just been, it's been an incredibly eye-opening experience for me in terms of living by myself, meeting all these new people, becoming friends with them, and then the academic side, going to these lectures, seeing how the other side of the world do it. It's a lot more in depth, but it's very, very interesting to take part in anyway. And then the employer visits have been really eye-opening. It's been really interesting to see the culture that each company exhibits and how interested they are in getting early careers in and getting all these new people in and getting more people trained up. Every single person seemed more than happy to have all these apprentices coming in. It would be too hard to discuss them individually because they each just had so many unique aspects behind them that I'd be jealous of any apprentice that joins them because the opportunities that they've got are just second to none. So I'm pleased to have been an ambassador here for this program, and I can't wait to see what actually comes of it, and I really hope it works.
Thank you very much, Sam. And yes, we will make sure that we send the video. I know that the employers in the UK and Canada who sent their regrets all wanted to get a video of today's session so that they can hear all of your feedback. And then, so our final speaker is going to be Lucy from Bentley, and then we'll move on to an open forum discussion so that both the UK and Canadian employers can ask each other questions. So Lucy from Bentley, you are our final student speaker.
Hi, I hope you can hear me all right. I'm Lucy Proudlove from Bentley Motors. I'm in the third year of my degree, doing the IT consultancy pathway. I'm in the digital and corporate innovation team at Bentley, so working on a broad range of projects, really, mainly kind of internal applications, trying to digitalize the workplace. Well, I came on this trip pretty much not knowing what to expect. I was really nervous about it. We obviously didn't really know each other, so that was a big thing, and living on our own. And I know 3 of us have spent our birthdays away here with each other. So it has been a big thing for all of us, but we've all just got on so well, and I honestly wouldn't have changed anything about it. I think we've learned so much, I think, especially from the company visits. One thing for me, I think, was kind of the different ways of working. It's quite broad, but also the project management side to things, the recruitment side as well. We found out different companies' recruitment processes, and also their hybrid working solutions through COVID and everything like that. Pearson was a company I found really interesting due to their kind of digital innovation side. I knew Pearson through their textbooks in school and stuff. So they're now adapting to do digital workbooks, and they've got a strong focus as well on kind of adapting to different needs as well with education. So I found that really interesting because it's kind of a similar thing to my role as well in Bentley. CGI, Ceridian and Shopify also focus quite a lot on the recruitment, which I mentioned before, but it's also something I'm kind of involved in at work, doing the future talent recruitment. So it's just interesting to see how other people have done it and some things that maybe we could also include when we're looking at recruitment. I think as well, the wide range of experiences from the other apprentices was something I didn't really expect. I thought we'd all kind of have the similar kind of experience from start to finish, and it's been completely different from within work and also with the degree as well. I mean, I was the only one that did the IT consultancy pathway, so it's been really interesting to see other pathways and what everyone's been up to. I'd say as well, the knowledge as well from this trip, the lectures that we attended, some of them didn't really directly link to what I do, which I think was actually like for the better, really, because you can get so stuck in stuff that you're just used to, whereas doing things like cybersecurity and lots of different lectures, it's just been really interesting. And I think something as well that will really help me, because I'm doing a lot more project management in work. So understanding different areas of the business as well can really help. I think as well, soft skills have been developed. We've been talking to loads of different people, loads of different companies. So it's something that I can really take back to work and also back to my final year of the degree. And I'd just like to say thank you to everyone as well from York. It's been really welcoming, and Nicole as well. Thank you for probably the best picnic I've ever had. Thank you to MMU, obviously Bentley as well, and all the employers as well for doing the visits for us. We were very welcomed, and we've had a lot of food given to us and everything. So everyone's been really welcoming. Thank you very much, and to York Uni as well, obviously.
Oh, of course, of course. Thank you so much, all of you, for keeping open minds throughout the entire process. And that picnic was actually supposed to be at, with picnic tables, but you guys were so responsive. I just brought some blankets. As you know, I had a family. My dad had a stroke, and the students were so lovely and so caring. And while he was in ICU, I know he was very disappointed because he wanted to hear all about your stories. Niagara Falls is one of his favorite places. But we ended up just throwing down blankets and having a big picnic, birthday, graduation ceremony in Niagara Falls, and that was very meaningful. So thank you very much. Now, I know that your employers will have a lot of questions for you, and I probably want to hear a little bit more. So what we'll do for the remainder of our time together is just open up the floor. We were considering doing a back and forth between our Canadian employers and our UK employers and asking more formal questions. So for example, one of the big first questions would be to our UK employers, why did you decide to take on degree apprentices in your organization? But now that you've heard from your learners, you may want to have, you may have some questions or comments for them specifically. So I'll have the UK employers respond first, and you can either ask one of the UK employers a question or respond to something they've said, or you can answer the question why you have taken UK or degree apprentices on in your organization. So does someone from the UK want to respond?
I'd be happy to say a few things. Not prepared for the question. Just for us, it's about giving young people opportunities to get sort of meaningful employment as early as possible. So myself, I started out as an apprentice myself, and then went on to do accounting qualifications. So from a personal point of view, it's always been in my mind that uni isn't the right pathway for everyone. It's a perfect pathway for certain people that are pursuing certain careers. But I just think the degree apprenticeship in particular, it's really important that the young people that work for us gain qualifications to further their career, and that they're more employable, they're better people, they've got a better skill set when and if they choose to leave the business. And it just seemed like a perfect platform and a way of giving them those opportunities. And then one aimed mainly at perhaps the employers in York, that you get a sense of loyalty as well. There's a 4-year commitment between the employer and the apprentice. From our point of view, the intention is for the relationship to last much, much longer than that. We would love Kieran to work at Codely and stay for life. Probably a bit ambitious, particularly now he's had this fantastic opportunity and he's seeing the world a little bit. But you try and create jobs for life. You give people opportunities. Once Kieran graduates next year, our challenge is to give him the next opportunity. How do we further his career beyond his degree? Our employees, we've looked at our employees doing masters with an employer as a sponsor as well, so that there's even there's an academic pathway that extends beyond the degree apprentice that the guys are on now. I would encourage them all to have a little break and reward themselves for all the hard work, but as an employer, that's always something that we'd be willing to support as well. So yeah, just a great opportunity all around.
Thank you very much, Craig. And yes, I can see, having spent a month with Kieran, I wouldn't want him to leave either. I know that we don't want him to leave from York University. So thank you so much. I know that Mimic probably has a couple of questions for our UK employers because they just met today. They had their employer visit this morning, and they're on the west coast of Canada, so they're in a different time zone. So to Mimic, do you have any questions for our employers? I know that Craig has spoken about the impact that work integrated learning has had on their organization, but what other specific questions might you have?
Yeah, so like the question that I have is like, first of all, we are very like interested in like, you know, hiring young talent, young engineers, and we see a huge difference, like, with the new generation of engineers, they're way more innovative, right? But I really want to know how do you support the students that come to your company, like, and then for the professional development, right? What do you provide them? Like, what type of support, like in terms of training? Like that's we at Mimic, we're trying to put something official together. I have like a program specifically for internal use for developers to be able to improve their skills, right? And have an opportunity maybe to move to a different department, like for example, to project management. And I saw that a lot of visitors to our company, they mentioned that they were working as a software engineer, but now they're mostly doing project management and product management. How do you support them? Do you provide them with the external training possibilities, or is it everything done internally?
This is a fantastic question, and I know that we're interested in this answer as well. So just do a few organizations from the UK or just one employer from the UK or MMU want to speak to this point?
I can certainly jump in. So from a point of view, from my point of view at Bentley, any specialist software, then training is provided. So for example, we use an OutSystems low-code platform. So we put all our software developers through the low-code training, and any other software tools, then we would provide training there. One of the key things I've found benefited the people is so traditional graduate trainee schemes, you might go on placements and you might go and spend 6 months in a department. I think the risk of doing something like that is you don't come out with a tangible benefit and a tangible outcome. So what I've been really keen to make sure that my team have done is work on projects. So still give them opportunities to work with cross-business projects. It might be with sales and marketing or manufacturing or any other area of the business, but make sure it's working towards a deliverable, so that there's an outcome. So whether it's an app or whatever else it happens to be, and as they get increasing experience within the business, take responsibility for the stakeholder management, for scoping out the project, for the delivery of the project, and the successful implementation and handover, just to give them the full experience of working with stakeholders across the business. And then as they get more experience, then get out of their way is about the best advice I can give. And what's worked for me as well is having building a pipeline. So I've got 4th year, 3rd year, 2nd year and 1st year apprentices in a peer group together, so they're really able to support each other with direct experience, as well as providing the mentoring from other areas of the business from a more experienced point of view.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now, I don't know if there could possibly be anything to add to that, but does anyone have anything they'd like to add to that question about supporting learners in the workplace? Maybe project identification, blending the learning from the classroom into the workplace.
So I was just going to add, so it's Mike Preston from Thales UK. So again, just so that it's not seen as just one employer is doing that kind of thing. Again, one of the things that we thought was it's important to get people into real projects, so they're an apprentice in a team. It's not just a team of apprentices that are doing something. The way we're split is sort of in our line teams, as it were. You might have apprentices, graduates, senior engineers, as opposed to, like I say, one line manager who's looking after the apprentices. We've had debates about whether it'd be nicer to have them kind of all together, and we're still in the middle of totally deciding that. But so far, we've tended to go with this mixed team approach. In terms of the training, like I say, we'll have internal training, just like the previous employee talked about. And then we've also got into using Pluralsight in the last couple of years. So that's not just for apprentices, but it's basically for all of our software engineers. Pluralsight's a third-party provider of sort of different training modules on tech.
So Mike, did that evolve? You mentioned that you've gone to this mixed team model. Did you start in a different with a different process initially? How has the actual experience of working, the degree apprenticeship experience, evolved for you, that process?
So what did we do to start with? So one thing is, so Thales, as Sam mentioned, there are different parts of Thales. So one of my colleagues who's in Thales Transport, they had a set of apprentices, and they did kind of manage it a little bit more like a separate team. In terms of the way it's evolved, I think at first we weren't sure how to work out what the split is between the university work and the real work and where that blends across. And certainly for our work, which is kind of defense related, so it can't really sort of blend overly that much. So trying to work out how much time someone needs, in the end, it was just a bit of give and take, really. So if somebody needs more time, we try and encourage them so that hopefully I'm not scary enough that they won't come and talk to me and ask for more time if they need more time. And then we've got sort of experts who can help if they're not getting some academic subject. I don't know if that answers the question, or I might have just gone on.
That was terrific. No, absolutely, because I know that Amir, that their team during the working groups, they've talked about that blending piece. I don't know if anyone from either MMU or York University wants to add anything to that, or ask any of the students or the employers any of the additional questions in that space. I know we have about 10 minutes left in our discussion, and I want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to share.
Could I just build on what Mike said? Sorry, because I think that was a really important point, that we've been doing this for a number of years now, and we're still learning like how we need to support the apprentice, and particularly we're learning around sort of the project-based work. So in year 3 and 4, that it's absolutely critical that the projects that the apprentices are working on that are linked to their degree are real world projects in the business. And I think in the early days, we perhaps didn't get that so much, but it's just critical that there's a business case, because it removes that conflict, because the apprentices need additional time in work for the projects, particularly in years 3 and 4. And if they're working on an actual business project or a customer project, it just removes the conflict between, oh, is this uni time, is this work time? So definitely sitting down with the apprentices, working through what options there are in terms of projects, making sure that they suit the business and also fulfill the criteria that the apprentice needs to meet. I think that's been really important, and we're still learning that year on year with every apprentice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I imagine the shift with COVID also changed everything. So each learner is unique, and then you're saying every year that they're learning is unique, and every project is unique, and then you have your environment that you're working with. Yes, it's a very dynamic space. So being able to pivot, I'm sure, and respond quickly is critically important. So our last sort of questions, or I'm sorry, Mimic, I don't want to cut you off. Did you have any other questions, Seth? I'm sure you have a few, but did you have any question that you wanted to
No,
close?
that's it. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. So this has been a terrific discussion, and I really appreciate everyone's time. I will pass it back over to Jane to close our discussion or add final thoughts.
Before we do, I was going to ask a question.
I'm sorry, I can't see any hands up, so
oh, okay. It's okay. I'd like to know from the UK employers the impact apprentices has on your business, and it might be tangible or intangible, but could you explain to me the impact they have? Is that a hard one?
Yeah, maybe if I can offer a view then. So using by recruiting apprentices and adopting the Loco platform, we've effectively built an internal app capability. And between the team, we've delivered over 40 apps in 2 years, which has saved a significant amount of money in outsource costs. And if you look, we started in COVID, and one of the first apps Lucy did was to help manufacturing get back to site safely by doing a risk assessment. She literally had 2 weeks whilst at home in the first lockdown to spin up an app to roll out straight away to 2,000 people on the shop floor to get them working back safely. So maybe not a financial number against that, but certainly it was one of the measures that made us a leader in the UK in terms of getting people back to work safely and the success of the business. And the efforts that they've done, they've reported straight into board level. We've developed a seat booking app, we've developed an employee news app, we've developed quite a lot of internal assets that had a lot of impact in the workplace. And being able to present to board members as well, having that access to senior people and to be recognised as well. So, they've had a fantastic impact, and I'd say beyond, the apprentice tag, they are software developers adding value to the business almost from the beginning of their engagement.
Thanks, Andy, for sharing that. Are there any other perspectives the employers want to share?
It's probably a little bit more abstract, but it's definitely a good sort of sense of extra energy that comes with each new set of apprentices, really. And like I say, because they're all different, you get different views that you wouldn't necessarily get from even necessarily taking someone after they've just graduated, really. So
yeah, I can appreciate that, Mike. It's some of the intangible things. It's hard to explain, but yeah, I'm not surprised these different perspectives. You're seeing some impact in your business. So on that note, and I know it's getting late in Europe, so I'm just going to close the event and say goodbye to our 8 apprentices. So again, I just want to thank everybody for the incredible contributions you've given to this Turing Scheme over the last month. It has been incredible to see the journey we've all been on. Actually, we've learned a hell of a lot from the students, and we really appreciate that. And you know what really strikes us is that the students and also some graduates now, because we know that some of you have had your results today, that they are voting with their feet to actually remain loyal employees for those employers who really basically took a leap of faith to educate the next generation of ICT specialists. And I'm really struck by the high level of employee retention that I'm certain is helping the UK keep and nurture essentially sorely needed talent. And for us, this kind of partnership is increasing employee access to the latest expertise, knowledge, and resources that we, as from a university perspective, can provide to businesses. And I think it's a win-win situation for both an employer and also a university. And so on that note, I really want to thank everyone so much for the involvement in this scheme. And again, I think through this month, we are now gaining amazing momentum for us, having next steps in creating a new programme that's really going to change the way work integrated learning is delivered in Canada. And I really look forward to continuing to work together to bridge the talent gap that we're currently facing. So thank you everyone for joining us, and good evening and a good rest of the day. Thank you.